Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. In this particular tutorial, we are going to go over the flashlight effect. Here's a quick demo that I used in my Haunted Mansion show. As you can see, the flashlight is visible right here. It moves around the house and reveals the decoration beneath. And as you can see, it's a pretty neat way to add some element of suspense or surprise to your design. And it's a good way of storytelling as well. And now we'll reveal the complete house as the flashlight takes over the entire house. Okay, I think that's a pretty neat effect to add to your shows. Of course, the application for this particular effect is not just limited to projection mapping. You can use it in pretty much any video that you create. Okay, so let's jump right into it. As you know, we'll always be using DaVinci Resolve here, but the same concepts can be applied to other softwares as well. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. By the way, all the effects that we are doing today are in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, so you don't have to spend any money to be able to achieve this. So here's a DaVinci Resolve project. In this particular example, I'll use this house image as our base effect that the flashlight will reveal. Okay. And as for the flashlight, it's basically a green screen flashlight that I found on Google image search. It was fairly easy to find. This is just an image. This is not a video that moves around by itself, but we'll animate it to make it work. Okay. So first and foremost, let's look at an approach where we'll use it similar to a traditional green screen approach. So basically what happens is put the green screen video on top of what you want to reveal, and then going to effects. Under effects, there's open effects. You want to go to 3D keyer, drag and drop the 3D keyer on the flashlight image. That's the one where we want to take out the green screen, okay? So here you might be under the inspector video tab. Just go to effects, and once you have 3D keyer selected, make sure you have the open effects selection enabled, okay? Most likely it might be on transform or nothing at all. You want to make sure you're on open effects. So once you're here, click the plus sign and just draw a simple line. That's it. You made the selection. Of course, there's a screen haze. It's very easy to fix. All you got to do is crank up this descale setting right here. Okay. When you do green screen with people, this setting works even better. Okay. So there you go. We've eliminated every aspect of green. So now we pretty much have a hole through which we can see the layer underneath. Okay. And again, this is something we can move around. For example, let's change it back to transform, for example. Okay. And then if we move this around, you can see that the hole is moving. So that is the traditional approach. But as you can see, the sides and everything is completely visible, and this is not really what we want. We want only this particular circle to be visible as part of the flashlight effect, and we also want to be able to move the circle around. Okay. So for that, what we are going to do is use another approach. Take this green screen, put it under the image that you want to reveal. Again, I understand this is counterintuitive, but stay with me here. Keep the selection on the green screen, come to video. Here under composite mode, it will be normal. Hit the drop down box below and go all the way to the bottom and select alpha. Okay, so one way to remember this is alpha usually deals with transparency, and with green screen we are essentially doing transparency, right? So that's one way to remember, but of course it's not essential to remember anything in this video. You can always come to YouTube and watch this tutorial again. Okay, next select the house that you want to reveal. Again, the composite mode would be normal. Select the drop down box below and then go all the way to the bottom and select foreground. Okay, again, one easy way to remember this is, since this is on top, calling it foreground makes sense. Okay, so everything seems to work, but it's kind of opposite. We want only the circle to be visible, not the other way around. So what we'll do is come back to the green screen image, go back to the effect that we added, the 3D keyer. There's this invert flag checked. Just uncheck that. Okay, so now we have exactly what we want. We have the flashlight showing up on the house and the correct part of the house being revealed. Now the next step here is we want to control the size of the flashlight and also be able to move the flashlight in the exact positions that we want. For that, it's fairly simple. Here, select the green screen image because that gives you complete control on the flashlight. Here, make sure the transform is selected. As you can see, there are a bunch of different selections. Make sure the transform is selected, and also it might be possible that it's just turned off like this and it's just gray. So make sure it's selected and highlighted. So that's when you'll see the box. Okay, so and then as you can see, you can move the flashlight around the house. Okay, and you can also control the size of the flashlight. So all we are doing is changing these zoom settings and position settings. So now we want this flashlight to be animated automatically, right? So for that, let's set an initial position. Let's say something like this. This is where I want to start. Okay, and now we are going to use keyframing. Keyframing is nothing but telling the software where you want a particular setting at this particular time. So for now, since this is where we are starting, I'm putting a keyframe right here just to make it easy for myself. You could put a keyframe just for the zoom and position because that's literally the only setting we've changed, but it's just easier and safer to do it for the whole thing. Now, next is we want to have some concept of time, right? So the time is displayed right here, 0 seconds as of now. Okay. Here, I want the flashlight to stay in this particular position for the first 10 seconds. Let me just extend the length of these images. Since these are images and not videos, it's easy to extend them. As you can see, it's the 10-second mark. I'm going to make sure to select the green screen image. Again, add a keyframe. So what that does is it tells the software to keep this image exactly here for the first 10 seconds. No matter what we do later, this is the position at this particular time. Okay. Now to make it easier for you to visualize this, I'm going to turn on this waveforms. So this is not required at all, but this is just to make the tutorial easier. So here you have this position Y. I'm just going to uncheck everything. Just select position X and Y because that's what we are going to be moving prominently. Okay. So as you can see, there is a white dot here and it's pretty much a flat line and a white dot here. So we've done nothing. So in the next 5 seconds, let's say about here, as you can see, 5 seconds ahead, I'm gonna move this flashlight somewhere here. Okay. And as you can see, the positions have changed. The Y has increased and the X has gone down. So basically it just indicates X and Y motion. And as you can see here, in terms of keyframe, the keyframe for position has been added automatically. You didn't have to do anything because the software automatically detected that you changed time and you moved the position. So you don't have to manually come and click. Automatically, it will detect what changed and add a keyframe. Next up, let's say a few seconds later, I want to move this flashlight all the way down here. Okay. And the same thing, I'm just going to go a little further ahead. Of course, there's a little bit of trial and error for you to figure out exactly what kind of flashlight motion you want, where you want to move. And just for tutorial purposes, we'll leave it at this. So let's review what we've done so far. As you can see at the start of the clip, the flashlight stays at this position for the first 10 seconds. And then as you move further along, the flashlight goes to this position and then the flashlight moves a little slowly to this position. So that's the motion we have right now. And just to clarify, the first time we moved, we manually added a keyframe at the 10-second mark. Imagine we didn't do that. So what would happen is the flashlight would not stay constant at the 10-second mark, right? It would directly try to go to the second keyframe where it moved. So just because we wanted it steady there for the 10 seconds, we had to manually add keyframe. Because if you're moving the image, the software automatically detects and adds a keyframe. But if you want something to stay fixed in position for a certain amount of time, you'll have to do it manually. Okay, so I'm just going to undo the change that I did. There you go. As you can see, I've added the position back. But there's one key aspect that's missing here. The motion doesn't look natural. As you can see, it just goes there, it bounces around, comes back, bounces around, and hits the position. The speed at which it's moving is extremely linear, and the directional changes is like very dramatic, right? It's like bouncing off a wall. In real life, if a human is controlling a flashlight, that's not how it's going to be. The speed is not going to be uniform. Same with directional changes. It's not going to be exact like it's bouncing off a wall. It's going to be more like a curve. We're going to fix that. Let me take this as an example. By the way, you can move keyframes with this little arrow here. So as you can see, I'll come into this keyframe. Here, since you see the position is moved, I'm gonna keep my cursor on the little red dot and right click. Right click, here you can see a bunch of options. It says linear ease in, ease out, and then ease in and ease out. So I'm just going to select ease in and ease out. As you can see, we got a curve right here, and we can control the curve using these handles that we have, okay? It's fairly easy to do. So this is what we're going to do for all the keyframes. Just jump to the next one, right click on the keyframe, ease in and out, okay? And finally, the last one as well. Since this is the last one, you can just get a ease in control. So this would replicate more of a natural motion as opposed to jerky movements. Now, the next step here is just to give it a slight bit of flicker. You don't want the flashlight to just come on instantly. A little bit of flicker always kind of looks good. So here, under Open Effects, click Flicker and just do Flicker Addition. I'll add to the top image, okay? So as you can see, it's flickering. Let me just turn off the green screen, just an idea of what this looks like. So as you can see, the entire thing is flickering. Now, just for tutorial purposes, I want to make this more dramatic. I'll go to the effect section again. This is the flicker effect that we added. I'm just gonna increase the range and increase the speed. Just for tutorial sake, I'll leave it dramatic, okay? I'll just turn the flashlight back on. And again, see, you can see the flicker right there. Now, you don't want the flashlight flicker throughout the scene, right? Global blend is what controls the amount of flicker that's added to the scene. Come to the start of the clip. At the global blend, keep it at maximum, because here you want maximum flicker. I'm going to add a keyframe, and then let's say at the 2-second mark, I want no flicker at all. So basically it'll flicker and just linearly go down. Finally, one last thing that we needed to do is reveal the complete house. So let me jump back to our green screen image here and also show you the curves, just so you have visuals of all the keyframes that we added. So this was a keyframe, and let's just say at this point we want to reveal the complete house, and that'll be linear. So all I'll do is pretty much just increase the size of the house. As you can see, there's a keyframe added for zoom. And for reference, basically what I've done is made that image extremely large. Oops. So this is where something went wrong, right? Like what I did was I added zoom right at the end, right? So what happened was the zoom was constant here where we added a keyframe, and after that the zoom kept increasing linearly. But that's not really what we want. We want the zoom to increase after we hit this last little keyframe. So let me just undo that. Here we go. So here, let me jump back to where we were. Here, I'm using these arrows to jump keyframes. Here, I'm going to add a keyframe to zoom, just to tell the software, hey, this is the zoom setting I want at this point. So that way, zoom does not change throughout the motion. Okay, now I'm going to go a little further, change the zoom to fit the whole thing. So now zoom stays consistent right until the last keyframe and then changes. Let me turn off some of these controls just for better view. Initially, there's a little bit of flicker. The flicker stops as we move along. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. The light kind of moves around gracefully. It comes to this position, and then the zoom settings are changed so that it reveals the complete house. And that's pretty much it. And of course, after this point, the green screen doesn't really matter. So even if I take that out, it doesn't matter because we're showing the complete image. So that's basically it, guys. You learned pretty much how to do a flashlight effect and reveal the entire house. And if you're interested in more projection mapping related videos and tutorials, subscribe to the channel. And in case if you're interested in projection mapping as a whole for your house, you could check out the link down below that goes over the complete projection mapping tutorial from start to end, all hardware and software aspect in a more organized fashion that is easy to comprehend. Pretty much jumpstart your projection mapping setup. Okay, thank you for your time. See you in the next one.